Welcome to Bee's Travelogue episode 66. My second day in Busan in October was such a beautiful day. Especially in contrast with the rainy day before, it was just gorgeous. Just a minute walk from my Airbnb, I crossed the road into Chinatown. My goal was to head straight up the mountainside and get a beautiful view of Busan below me. I was either walking up streets or climbing staircases, some more beautiful than others. Along the way, I saw this high school, a church, and lots of historical markers. As you'll see, this day became a day of staircases. It was one after the other and never stopped. I was not too early, but the streets were very quiet. I think it was a holiday, and most people were sleeping in, I believe. The few people that I met on the street were always smiling at me. Some of the staircases were really narrow and steep, but the view was really rewarding. This was just the first level view of Busan and the long bridge in the background. There were lots of buildings still being built, and a lot of the rooftops were blue and green, which is very common and very noticeable in K-dramas. Here's the next staircase and the next view. This part was still under construction, but it was becoming very beautiful. If you paid attention and looked around you, you could always see artwork or funny things like this pink peanut or whatever it is on the wall. After yet another staircase, I finally reached a plateau and followed a street to this community. Again, there was artwork on the wall, and even the bus stop had a shark above it, a shark with hands and knees. The houses here in this area were very colorful. I was on my way to a temple, so I climbed more stairs and walked along the ridge until I finally had this view of the temple and could climb more steps to get inside. Now here the views turned really spectacular. I mean, all of Busan, at least this side of Busan, lay below me. The temple was beautiful, the view was spectacular. I was just happy to be here. For those wanting to know, the temple's name is Wolbong-sa, or Wolbong Temple. It's really right across from the Busan train station, just walking straight up the staircases until you reach the ridge and then walk to your right to the temple. It was October, but the flowers here were in full bloom. I explored every corner of this temple and took a gazillion pictures, as you can see. It was just too beautiful to pass up this opportunity to look at Busan in full sunshine under a bright blue sky. There were several layers to this temple. From the street level, I climbed the first stairs to where the pavilion was with the big bell inside. And then I climbed another staircase to get to the next pavilion. And then I climbed even higher from there to look down on everything. And then I finally went back down to each building and just looked around to see how far I could get to examine the architecture and take more pictures of the painting and the designs. From up high, I found the big Buddha statues, so I walked around to take some more pictures of that as well. And then finally, it was time to leave the temple and decide on my next destination. I believe after the temple, I caught a bus to get near to the monument to the fallen heroes. When I got off the bus, there were more stairs to climb. Once again, the views from this outlook over the city were amazing. You can see Busan Tower in the distance, where I had been during my first visit to Busan in February. That time I had arrived late in the evening and walked from my Airbnb to the Busan Tower and saw the city below me during nighttime with all the lights lit up. From this overlook, it was just a short walk to reach the street that was leading up to the monument. Once I got closer, I reached an area with lots of photographs and explanations about the Korean War and the significance of the monument, as well as information about the height and width of the monument. I walked up the zigzag stairs to get closer and found that it was possible to get inside the monument. First, I took several close-up pictures of the statue of the soldiers, and then I walked inside through the round door that reminded of a hobbit house. Inside the monument, the walls again were inscribed with lots of names of fallen soldiers. Once I left the monument, I walked back down the road and across to the park on the other side. The park contained many statues, and there was another building that contained another monument, a big metal flame. You could walk to the top of the building, and from there you had another good view of the city. Here there was artwork and memorials remembering the 1980 and 1987 democracy movements. From Democracy Park, we had a good view of the monument of the fallen heroes and the harbor. You can see the monument here and also the metal flame sticking out of the building, the harbor, and then it was October, but you can see that the trees are mostly still very green. There were just very few spots that made you remember that it was almost fall. Here you can see that parts of some of the trees are just starting to change. I'm sure the foliage here must be beautiful in late October. I couldn't linger too long in one spot. I wanted to see more of Busan. So first I returned to the road and headed to my left around the ridge of this mountain. I came to these stairs, which when I stopped, I saw that there was a monorail coming up. So I waited and then took the monorail down. It was a lot of fun. It was just a one-person rail car, or maybe two could fit in it, but I just went down by myself and took some photos as I was going down. It was very colorful and pretty. When I got off, there were a lot of tourists right here. I think they had been bused here. They were all taking pictures of this area. It really was very pretty. At this point, I waited for a bus that would take me to a very different part of Busan, down by the harbor and to a peninsula that a friend had recommended to me. He said he had been there with his family and it was very beautiful. So I was trying to reach it by myself from where the bus had dropped me off. So first I was at this bay with this beautiful red lighthouse and lots of boats in the distance on the shimmering water. I walked past this artwork of the Jeju divers, which reminded me of my trip to Jeju in early August. So if you haven't seen those videos, I highly recommend them. Here's the red lighthouse and the typical Korean apartment buildings. Here my afternoon turned frustrating. I got turned back by this gate and went all the way back downhill when I met a man who said, "No, there's a shortcut," and he showed it to me, but I wasn't able to follow. It was just too steep and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get back from where we would end up. So I called it quits and returned to the lighthouse and then followed a beautiful pathway along the shore, which ended up having more and more steep steps. However, the views of the sea were gorgeous in this area. I saw stairs. I thought I could get to the shore and follow along the shore, but I had to go back up each time. It was very hot and very exhausting. I was getting to the end of my strength, but I kept going. I knew there was a beautiful overlook coming, and I was heading toward a village that was marked on the map. From the Yeongdo observation deck, we could see very far, and the sign said that we were able to see Japan. So it's quite possible that I saw one of the Japanese islands in one of these pictures. I love the blue-green color of the ocean in one direction and then the silvery shine of the sunlight on the ocean to the west. I was on my way to Hanyol Culture Village and found this slow post box. You mail a letter and it's only going to be delivered 1 year from now. So you better make sure that what you write is still going to be true then. I thought it was sort of risky. The Hanyol Culture Village was very colorful and had lots of paintings. There were quite a few people here compared to the usual spots where I was always by myself. Here it seemed pretty crowded. There were a lot of small cafes, little shops that were selling souvenirs. There were more staircases going down to the shore, but I was worn out from all the staircases I had gone up and down so far this day, so that I stayed up on the boardwalk and didn't venture out too far. It was late afternoon, I was tired, but it was my last time in Busan, so I wasn't ready to go home yet. One of my Facebook friends had recommended going to Dadepo Beach, so I took the subway and headed in that direction. But it took much longer than I thought, so I had just missed the sunset when I reached the beach. I was a little upset at first, but then I saw it was still beautiful even though the sun was gone, and I stayed around to see what I could see, and it ended up that the sky turned absolutely beautiful after a few minutes. Also, what I discovered was that almost everybody who wanted to get their picture taken was here at this beach. I think it was couples, married couples. Everybody was in wedding gowns, in tuxedos. People were taking couple pictures left and right. Everywhere I looked, people were getting their pictures taken. Some from professional photographers, sometimes just friends or selfies. People were in the water with their wedding gowns. People were drinking wine. People were kissing. It was quite an amazing sight, actually. I did not expect this. It was like stepping into a real-life K-drama. There were also lots of families going for a walk, people exercising, walking. Look at everybody here. When I was wondering before where all the people were, I guess they were all in Busan at the beach. And no wonder, really, it was very beautiful. I walked pretty far to the north end of the beach as the sky was changing colors. There were airplanes landing at Busan airport. Every 2 minutes a plane was coming overhead. There were so many people walking and enjoying the view. The sand was really pretty here as well. Even this late, there were still many people getting their pictures taken. Look at the wedding gowns in this picture. As the top of the sky got darker blue, the orange became more prominent. It was very, very beautiful. While I was looking at the sky and enjoying the reflections in the water, watching the silhouettes of the people in front of the sky, the buildings behind me had started to turn on the lights. And then some kind of announcement came on over the loudspeaker.
공원관리센터에서 알려드립니다. 다대포 해수욕장에 너우상 파도와 심한 조류 등 위험한 상황이 자주 발생하고 있습니다.
And then I noticed someone doing fireworks at the beach, so I was filming that for a little while. It was time to go home after a long day, so I took the subway. On the subway, there was an old man yelling at the 4 foreign young men sitting across from me. I was getting upset for them, and then a young Korean man aggressively confronted the old man until others stepped in to hold him back. Please join me for my next adventure, and thank you for watching.